You are perfectly right. As a matter of fact, the title of my opening speech tomorrow morning would be Good News versus Bad News, the good narrative the world needs. So I want to shift paradigm and outline the incredible progress technology, science, innovation made and allowed humanity to have a much better world. Poverty line in the world was 90% of population 150 years ago. Now it's below 10%. It halved in the last only 20 years. So we are achieving astonishing progresses. Only if we look at the world on a long-term basis, we can realize that we are really living an optimistic era.
And yet, having said that, once again, the clear and present danger as far as Europe is concerned is coming out of Italy. And all of those old concerns that we've looked at over the last decade or so seem to be coming back because of concern about dysfunction of this government. Do you think we have a dysfunctional government in Italy?
I don't think so. You know me since years. You may accuse me of too much optimism, but you may recall that last April we sort of forecasted this coalition coming up in terms of democratic numbers, genuinely elected by Italian citizens. As a matter of fact, they have a great deal of ingenuity, a great deal of naivete, a great deal of improvisation somehow, but in the end they are genuinely led to do something better for Italy and Italians. And as a matter of fact, nothing of the threat for markets are happening, like the flat tax or like the universal remuneration salaries for people. So we have to wait and see. A key moment will be in 3 weeks' time when Minister Tria will present the budget law for next year. That will be a key moment. That is why it will be extremely interesting to listen at the European House Ambrosetti 44th edition forum, the Prime Minister and the Treasury Minister speaking tomorrow, Saturday actually, and on Sunday.
But having a naive, improvising government with trying to have ingenuity doesn't instill confidence in a 2.3 trillion euro bond market, does it?
Yeah, but we can say the same about Mr. Trump himself or about the people who led the United Kingdom within the Brexit. So we simply have to accept the world is changing and we need to face the new reality. And in the end, like take Mr. Tsipras, who was used to participate here as a disruptive political character of Europe. And then he went to the government. What happened? Actually, he implemented the Troika resolutions. So I'm not saying that we will have the Troika in Italy at all, but what I'm saying is that I remain optimistic because the fundamentals of Italy are very sound.
But I remember speaking to Mr. Tsipras over there, and if your analogy is correct, what you're saying is this government will succeed if it doesn't carry out its manifesto promises.
Yes.
That doesn't sound like the antidote to this populist revolt we've seen across the world.
Exactly. That is what I mean.
But if they don't carry out their promises, that means populism has turned one way and it's failed, and then they just become part of the establishment, and then the populists perhaps go elsewhere. Perhaps that augurs the Italexit or something more severe.
Well, no, I don't expect that at all. Also, look at the numbers in perspective. If you take the example of France, you may recall that the Le Penists got much more votes than Mr. Salvini himself. And Macron, at the first stage of the election, he got less votes than Le Pen at that moment. And then, given the rules of the political electoral law in France, Macron was able to become the president, and now seems that En Marche and the pro-European policy is paying back Macron and all the new government in France. In Italy, that didn't happen because of the different electoral system. not because Italians are different or too different in that sense. So my expectations is that yes, they will not push to the end what they have promised to the electoral at the electoral campaign. They will not do that, and by the way, they will not be the first in all the world not to maintain the political promise. That happened the same in a number of other countries.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.